Okay.
Welcome, Dr. Lesher.
We will set the dates for the workshop, Tuesday, May 30th at 7, and the board meeting to follow Monday, June 5th at 7. Fire Department, Jeremy, Chief.
Good evening, John Hagen was in the information committee. I'm here in place. Two items on the agenda. The first is to accept a new member to the host company, Stephen Arroyo.
Okay, do I have a motion to accept the host company new member, Stephen Aurelio? Joe made motion, have a second. Hank seconds it. Any discussion? Is he, over 18?
Yes, he is.
Okay.
He was a member previously. He resigned from NYPD, and now he came back.
Is he still an active NYPD officer? Oh, very good. Okay. All in favor? Aye, motion passes.
And the second item on the agenda is to accept the pension plan for 2016 in LoSAP.
Okay, so we have Brian at the time frame of the 30 days posting.
Correct.
Okay, so do I have a motion to accept the pension plan, the LoSAP plan? Do I have a second? Any discussion? All in favor? Aye, motion passes. Okay, next up, culture and recreation. This is like, we're moving right along.
40 minutes.
Okay? Good evening.
Good evening, everybody. How are you? So a few things that we have on the agenda coming up in the month of May. The training center, just to mention, that is open on Saturdays 9 to 1. We have activities that provide nice traffic, which is a nice thing for the village. Tomorrow, May 2nd, will be the nutrition workshop at 10:30 a.m. upstairs in the community room. This Thursday, May 4th, there will be a fundraiser over at the community center. The Suffern varsity cheer team is going to be doing taco night and a tricky tray. That's what I thank you, Elaine. That's Thursday. And then coming up at the end of the month, the Memorial Day Parade and Barbecue will be on May 29th, and the parade kicks off as usual at 11. It usually waits for the high school band to come over from Sloatsburg, so 11:10 will be kicking off the parade down at the end of Lafayette. The fishing derby will be on June 10th. It's a Saturday. Registration is at 9:30, and then fishing will be from 10 to 11, with the barbecue following at the Mawa Elks. And we just had Keep Rockin' Beautiful. One of the locations to clean up was over at the pond, so it's looking nice over there. We're getting there. The pool, believe it or not, we're talking about the pool, but the pool will be opening on June 24th. It's a Saturday, and it will be open to Labor Day, which is Monday, September 4th. And then for a discussion, I just wanted to talk about the musical director. We have talked about it in the past meetings, but we did find somebody that we'd like to have for a musical director, and it will be Hal Keschner for the musical director for Clifford Theater.
Okay. You left one thing off. The walk with the mayor.
Oh, coming up, yes, I did. Sorry, Mayor. So Wednesday, this Wednesday, May 3rd, we will be having our kickoff from the newly put up walking loop in the village of Suffern. So Mayor Markunas is going to be walking at 10 a.m. if anyone would like to join him. It's going to start here in Village Hall. Parking is available to everybody here. And then the walk will be going, it's about 1.3 miles. And then it finishes up back here at Village Hall. So we're hoping that everybody can join us.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Kathy, 2 questions.
Yes.
One with regard to the pool opening. I remember last year there was a little bit of a problem with the equipment, I guess being outdated, or the camera wasn't working, the software wasn't, interface was not working properly. Right. Has that been cured?
We did buy a new camera. It did go at the end of the season, so we do have a new camera. Everybody that gets a new pool pass this season will be taking a new photo. But yes, the camera has been fixed, and we're up and going on that one.
Okay. And will you be doing some constant contact information updates with the walking, with the fishing derby coming up?
We should, yes. When the mayor and I can get together, yes, we will do some constant contacts.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so I have the resolution before me. Be resolved, the Board of Trustees authorizes the mayor to sign the agreement hiring Hal Keschner as musical director for the Clifford Theater Summer Program at the sum of $1,100 effective April 10th through August 6th. Nunc pro tunc. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second? Second. Any discussion? Motion, all in favor? Aye. Motion passes.
We have Jill and Frank, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, the grant writer for the facade program, are you gonna? I have it. You have something else? Yeah. Okay. Come on up, Mr. Rella.
Good evening, Board. First of all, I want to say Saturday we did our Arbor Day celebration, and Deputy Mayor Frank Hagen did a fantastic job, as did Kathy Mills and Charles Sawicki. We planted 3 eastern redbud trees over at Yorkshire Park, which is across from the Dare hockey rink, so that went very well, along with Boy Scout Troop 21. We are going to be receiving $5,000 for the DARE program through the Department of Criminal Justice Services, which is sponsored by Ellen Jaffe. So right now I'm working with the DCJS, as it's referred to, the acronym, to get that paperwork in order. One final thing is the Wayne Avenue Sidewalk Project, which so far we received $110,000, or have been awarded $110,000 from Rockland County Office of Community Development. They now have to do an environmental assessment, which is becoming a standard procedure for these type of grant awards. And we're going to get that kicked off along with Charles Sawicki, myself, and Community Development later this week.
Great.
All right.
Thank you. Well, we're on the facade program. Ms. Coffer was unable to make it, but I have the resolution before me. It's in regards to the signs and awnings. So I have here a resolution authorizing the mayor to sign the agreements with the 5 property owners for the sign and awning facade program. 1, Bagel Train. 2, Forgia. 3, Suffern Food Mart. 4, Wow, That's Unusual, That's Unique. And 5, O'Hanlon Realty Corp. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Next up, Mr. Magrino, Assistant Village Attorney.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening.
I've submitted 2 resolutions for, with respect to the Orange Avenue project. The first is with respect to the parking agreement. As the board will recall, when the project received approval, the board granted a certain amount of parking. 1.50 parking spaces were required, 1.25 of which had to be on site. With the way the project came about, 13 spots, they were unable to provide 13 spots. As a condition of the law passing and as a condition of site plan approval before the planning board, the applicant was required to show that they had the ability to have 13 off-site spots. The village, there were some negotiations and an agreement was reached, subject to, of course, to the board's approval, whereby the applicant would purchase 13 permits, parking permits for parking in municipal lots in the village. So I provided a proposed agreement, and I'm asking for this resolution. I don't know if you want me to read it or what you want to do with that, Mr. Mayor. The resolved portion. Or?
Sure, that'll be good.
If there were no questions on it, I'd ask the board to consider the resolution that I provided. In particular, at the resolved portion, it says the village hereby agrees that the owner of the property located at Orange Avenue of Blauvale Place and identified on the Town of Rampo tax map at section 54.35, block 2, lot 6, may purchase 13 annual and overnight parking permits permitting the residents of the property to park in municipal lots of the village pursuant to the rules and regulations of the Village of Suffern Village Code and in accordance with the terms and conditions of a declaration of covenant, which is annexed hereto and hereby approved by the village board. Said covenant shall be recorded in the Rockland County Clerk's office at the expense of the owner of the property, with the original covenant to be returned to the village clerk.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah. Would it be more appropriate to say, rather than may purchase, shall purchase?
Right. You know, it's funny. I did put may in for this reason. If by some miracle they are able to find 13 spots somewhere else, they're not necessarily required to purchase them from the village. They have to provide 13 off-site parking spots. It may be in the village's interests at some point if they find 13 spots elsewhere to not have this, if parking gets to a point where the village doesn't want to do that. So we have the covenant. They're required to provide the 13 spots or get the permits and provide the 13 spots. If somehow they find another way to provide them, it's there. I mean, we could put shall, it really,
Well, my concern is they can tell people, we don't want you to use this lot. We, find spots on the street. Or they could argue, we don't really need the 13 spots. We found the spots elsewhere.
right. Well, the only thing I'll say, in the covenant, it says they got to buy them whether they need them or not, whether it's half full, whether it's 3/4 full. So we're covered on that. I mean, we could change it to shall. It's just, even in the village's interest, again, could they purchase a lot next door and provide 13 spots? They'd have to show us proof. They always have to have these 13 spots. So that's the only reason why I put may instead of shall, but we could adjust that.
I'd feel better if it was shall. I mean, they're required through the TTD and the site plan to have the 1.5 spots. Why shouldn't it be mandatory that they should purchase it from us?
Right.
I don't think they have to, if they were able to purchase 13 spots from someone other than the village, then they can do that. It's not, is that correct?
Right. When it was passed, the issue was they're going to provide 13 spots, whether it's from some other lot or whether it's from the village, and whether the village was willing to, provide them with those spots at a certain cost. So, again, it's a requirement that they have 13 off-site spots to the satisfaction of the village. So that's kind of where we're at with the may and the shall. But again, if we put in shall, we can put in shall, but again, the covenant is there that they got to buy them, and under all circumstances, they have to have 13 spots. So, whether they, again, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, they go another route.
Well, I guess first they have to build, right?
What's that?
Begin with, first they have to build.
Right. Well, that'll be my next point after we get through these two.
Okay, so I guess we'll leave it as may.
Yeah, if they're not required to get the 13 spots from us, it should be may.
Right, that was the point.
And that was negotiated out, that they were allowed to purchase it elsewhere?
They always were allowed.
Right, that was never, it was more of they were hopeful that the village would agree to, some type of agreement like this, otherwise they would have to find something else. But in terms of the village, they're agreeing, and at a certain price, as adjusted by the board, as the permit prices change, for as long as they're required to have the 13 spots, which is forever.
That's until they come to the board and show they have 13 elsewhere. Do they just
Right, it
have to
wouldn't
have
necessarily
13?
be the
They
board,
have to
yeah.
come to us and present those 13 spots.
Right, it's a requirement of both the zone change and the site plan approval that they have 13 off-site parking spots. Other than coming in with, some other owner or lot that they've purchased, presumably this would be the way that they satisfy that.
I have another, it should be annual, I think you read it that way also, annual
Right.
and overnight.
Right, I did make that change.
Okay, great. Any further? All in favor? Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you. The second one is pursuant to the DEC stormwater regulations and the site plan approval, the applicant, as all applicants, are required to file a declaration of covenant for inspection of the stormwater maintenance facilities. They've submitted an agreement which really was prepared by us and reviewed by Charles, and we both approved it. And again, I'm asking that the board consider this resolution. Be it resolved that the Village of Suffern hereby accepts, receives, and files a declaration of covenant for the annual inspection of stormwater maintenance facilities from Orange Avenue Apartments LLC for the property located on Orange Avenue, Rampo Tax Map, Section 54.35, Block 2, Lot 6, along with the sum of $5,000 to be held in escrow by the village to ensure performance of said inspections. Said covenant shall also be recorded in the Rockland County Clerk's office at the expense of the owner of the property, the original to return to the village clerk. And I do have the check for $5,000, so upon approval, I'd turn that over to the treasurer's office.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Aye, motion passes.
If I may, Mayor, Mr. Mayor, I did mention at the workshop that the last outstanding item was a performance bond.
Yes.
And letter of credit. I had been in touch with them. I sent an email this morning indicating that that was really the last item. As of, this meeting, I haven't received anything. So my intention would be, and now time is getting to be an issue. Again, it's an item that was prepared by me, the letter of credit. I've also prepared and given to their bank, which is Sterling Bank. My intention would be, provided they get that to me, along with their agreement, which of the improvements, it's for public improvements that they have to take care of at the site. As long as it's in order, according to our review, Mr. Janito's review, I'll have Mr. Kraushaar review it as well. As a standard practice, since it would be, in essence, either, pro forma acceptance by this board, I'd certainly send it to the board for review. If that's the last item, that condition of site plan approval could be deemed satisfied such that the map could be signed before we have a formal acceptance by the board. So I just wanted to put that out there. In essence, it would be everyone will have looked at it and approved it, and we didn't want to hold it up if we didn't have to get a vote on June 5th. That would be my intention.
So you would want to,
Well, I'm not asking for a vote now.
Right.
All I'm suggesting is at the time you vote on it, the site plan map may have already been signed.
Okay.
But we will have in hand the actual letter of credit and the agreement that everyone here will have seen in any event. I just am
Right.
pointing out that from at least the village, attorney's office perspective, the site plan map would be in order for signature of the clerk once we have it in hand.
okay, sounds good. We can't hold up this project any longer. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chief Osborne, Police Department.
Okay, Mayor and Board, I just have one item to vote on, and just some informational items. The item for vote is the resolution authorizing the mayor to execute agreement between Rockland, the County of Rockland and the Village of Suffern. This is for a reimbursement of $15,833.49. It is a reimbursement for overtime incurred due to narcotics investigations with the Narcotics Task Force.
Okay, so I have the resolution before me authorizing resolve that the Village Board of the Village of Suffern hereby authorizes Mayor Edwin Markunas to execute the agreement between the Rockland County and the Village of Suffern commencing July 1st, 2016, and terminating December 31st, 2016, non-pro-tunc, with the county agreeing to pay the Village of Suffern a sum not to exceed $15,833.49, solely and exclusively to be used for the purpose of reimbursement of law enforcement overtime related to Regional Investigative Resource Center confidential investigation. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second? Any discussion?
Yeah.
It's supposed to be 17 or 16?
Let me try to explain, if it could even be explained, why we reference an agreement which commenced on July 1st, 2016, and terminated on December 31st, 2016. The county never sent us a new contract. So we're operating under the old contract. I'm assuming that sometime this year, I'll get a contract which will cover the period January 1st, 2017 through July 1st, 2017. I'll probably get that sometime after July 1st, 2017. That's my guess.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Mayor Board. Just informational items. In month of April, we had 607 police blotters and related calls, 24 arrests. We have heavily implemented again our downtown business district patrol detail. We're always downtown. Every officer obviously patrols our business district. But with the special detail, we assign officers at specific times to focus entirely downtown, not leaving the rest of the village uncovered. Other officers will take up the other areas. That's been going very well. We'll be doing walking, have started some walking we're picking up now.
Got a lot of good feedback on that also.
Thank you.
Very appreciated, and they like it.
Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate it very much. Thank you. We have we'll be assisting RP Connors School with the bike rodeo May 20th. They asked us to help them run it. It's on a Saturday. We're going to assist them. Connors School also asked us to run a barbecue and Olympic Day, which we had offered for the kids due to our barbecue expertise. We're always cooking for kids and events, so we're going to do it that day as well. Commercial vehicle enforcement checks will be starting this month. Dale hockey, we have 10 teams in the middle and high school division this season. We have a couple events coming up. We'll be participating in Salvation Army's Community Day. May 13th, I'll have the K-9 unit, possibly the SWAT truck, and some other items demonstration at the Salvation Army. We just found out about this today. I'll be doing a coffee with the chief. Last time we did the mayor and chief, I think we'll be doing those again coming up as well.
Yep.
On May 13th at Bagel Train, I'll be set up. And the reason we do that is some people work during the week and either they can't get to us during the week or can't commit to us about any issues they want to speak about. So we'll set up out in front of Bagel Train for the morning, 3 hours or so, and talk to them. We'll be doing firearms qualifications this month. And last but not least, we had a great job our officers did this month. We had an interesting call. A woman was in the roadway up by the hospital. We had a call about 2 o'clock in the morning, I believe. It's midnight shift. And it came in this woman in the road. The officers got there. While Officer York was responding there, the car in front of him, he noticed, was all over the road. So to get to the emergency, he got by the vehicle, checked the woman out, was being aided by a pedestrian. She was in the road, fell down. She was intoxicated, fortunately not struck by a car. Officer York realizes after that she's okay, still sees the car coming up the road, the same car that he saw swerving, and he got out in the road and fortunately stopped the car. Stops the car, goes over, the driver is DWI, but what the driver didn't realize, and the passenger in the back seat, was an 18-year-old girl from Montebello was in cardiac arrest due to a drug overdose. So you talk about fate to stopping her. They administered, luckily the paramedics were just getting there because they were coming to the injured woman. So it's sort of like 3 calls in one, but it was a good ending. And the girl was brought back, taken to the hospital, and she's okay. So they did a great job. When I did my police awards eventually, that will obviously be brought here. But I just want to let you know, even at 2 o'clock in the morning, the minute officers, they're out there doing the job as everybody is around the clock. And I just thought that's something that we appreciate all of your support. You're very good to us, all of you. And I just want to let you know the resources that you give us are being put to good use. So, thank you.
Great job there, Andrew. Officer York.
Thank you.
Great job.
I appreciate that.
Thank you. Okay, at this time, I'd like to open the mic up to audience participation. Anyone from the audience would like to speak at this time? Carol.
Yeah, I have a question on the Orange Avenue project, which you brought up. I would like to go on record as saying I'm not at all sure I'm happy with the environmental impact of the size and the height of the building on the rest of the village. We seem to be getting out of hand with our rezoning and trying to squeeze more and more in. And a while back, they had decided, because of our water system and everything else, so sure we can pump water up higher, we can create more pressure mechanically, but that it was not a good idea to go over 4 stories. And now we're getting more and more, and it's not just for normal stories, but industrial size. And like as on Lafayette Avenue, you've got some buildings that are in the hill, and it's really 5 stories. In the future, I wondered if, before we go into more projects, take that in consideration. I wanted to ask how many units are going in on that Orange Avenue place, and how did we arrive at we need 13 more spaces that aren't there on the site? Why weren't they required to build the building with taking in consideration the amount of parking spaces that they would have on the amount of land they're using?
Okay, so that was discussed many years ago, I believe. There's 92 units. The requirement for the district was 1.5 parking spaces per unit, and they were able to achieve 1.25 on site, and they also were required to make up the 13 lost parking spots they don't have. So that's what we're discussing tonight. That's what was approved tonight.
Okay, yeah, I know you approved it, but I want to take us back to Squires Gate, because that was the one side I worked investigations on with the police department, and my father and a few other officers. And it eventually landed in Long Island and then down. I don't want to go into Florida or anything else. The guy was a real shyster. But
Who's that? Who's that? Who's the shyster?
Those that contracted and were involved in
In Lonigan Drive? In Squires Gate, I mean?
Squires Gate
Okay.
project. All the way from the bottom to the top, the real estate agent, the contractor, the financiers putting it in.
Did you know about this?
Part of the problem in the discussion then was the amount of parking spaces. And
Well, that's I know, I understand your point, Carol, but that's you know, that's a while ago. We understand, and this is why we're trying to accommodate the parking, and we will look at it more closely on the next project, absolutely.
Yeah, because I'm thinking here, they figured 2 cars, 1 car per family, maybe 2.
Times have changed, so it's like, it's a different formula now.
Well, yeah, 1.5 is less than 2 that they figured
That's
out.
1.5 cars. I don't even know if you can own a half a car.
And I'm
Car and a
thinking, when you go
motorcycle.
down Lonigan Drive, how many cars do you?
Motorcycle. Joe said it's a motorcycle. Thank you, Carol.
That's just my point.
All right, that's fine. Thank you. Is there anyone else from the audience that would like to speak? Okay, thank you. Next up, Virginia.
Okay,
I don't have my minutes here, hold on.
you don't have your minutes?
No, the old minutes.
Okay.
I just want to see who was here.
Approve the village, the minutes of February the 6th, Mayor. think everyone was here on that one.
Everyone?
I think so.
Okay. Do I have a motion to accept the minutes,
February the 6th.
February the 6th, 2016?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
And the next one is the minutes of it was a regular board meeting of March the 4th, Mayor.
Okay, do I have a motion to accept the minutes of the regular board meeting, March the 4th, 2017?
Make a motion.
I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Next.
Next, we have the award for the concession stand up at the Memorial Pool, and we got one bid in, and that was from Gene Hendley, and it was $101.
How much was that?
$101. Mayor will never let me forget this.
Okay, so do I have a motion to accept the bid, to award the bid to Miss Jean Henley? The bid price of $101.
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye, motion passes. Miss Jean Henley had it last year. She did a great job and highly recommended.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Mr. Zawicki, Department of Public Works.
Good evening. Just give you, the board, an update on the sanitary sewer replacement project on James Street. A pre-construction meeting will be held this week on Thursday, and that work shall commence within the week.
Okay.
Am requesting the board to accept the resignation of Mr. Daniel Morgan, Refuse Department Labor, effective April 21st, 2017.
I have that resolution before me authorizing the mayor and the board of trustees to accept the resignation of Mr. Daniel Morgan. Resolved that the mayor and board of trustees accept the resignation of Mr. Daniel Morgan, the Department of Public Works laborer, effective April 21st, 2017, nunc pro tunc. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
Thank you. Am requesting the mayor to appoint Mr. Victor J. Sanchez to the vacant labor's position within the Refuse Department. Mr. Sanchez has been approved by the Rockland County Department of Personnel and is a U.S. Army veteran. Mr. Sanchez will commence work on May 8th, 2017 at a pay rate of $17.30 per hour.
Before me, I have the resolution authorizing the mayor to appoint Victor J. Sanchez to the vacant laborer's position in the Refuge Department. Resolve the mayor and hereby appoints Mr. Victor J. Sanchez to the vacant laborer's position within the Refuge Department at a rate of $17.30 per hour starting May 8, 2017. Mr. Sanchez is a U.S. Army veteran and has been approved by the Rockland County Department of Personnel. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Just to be clear, there's a provisional appointment, correct?
Well, there is a period of 6 months that you'd be on probation.
Yeah, I just want to get that onto the record. Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
Thank you. I am requesting the board to schedule a scheduled public meeting for the annual MS4 report.
We gotta pick a date.
I don't know what date you want.
How many days do we need?
That meeting would have to be, the annual report would be required to be submitted to DEC before June, or before, yeah.
Before June 1st. So it's a special meeting.
It would have to be, yeah, I would say it would be a special meeting.
Okay.
When you say let me ask you this. If they set it for May 30th?
Well, it's certainly before June 1st. However,
I'm just asking.
However, it would be, Is it doable? I think it could be doable. It does cut it very, very close. If that's the only opportunity, I certainly would.
No, I just wanted to know the outside
Yeah.
parameters.
Now, the 30th is, what day of the week is that?
That
A Tuesday.
Tuesday?
And you're due on the 1st is
Could
a
be done. It
Thursday.
Could be done. Could be done. We'd have to get it out, but that would be, would it be in the evening? That'd be an evening meeting?
Yeah?
Yeah. All right, well, be cutting it very close, but, if that's our only choice, then I'll take
We're
it.
gonna change that meeting date. There might be a conflict with that date overall, the 30th.
Okay.
So, all right, so let's go with another date. Are any board members, do they know their availability?
I don't like Wednesday.
You don't like Wednesday?
What about next Monday?
I think next Monday you should have
Monday's the 8th.
I can do that.
You could do that?
I could be there.
it. Monday the
What time?
Evening.
Evening.
What time?
I can't do it during the evening.
No.
6 o'clock, I have a meeting. Okay, I'm available anytime, so how about Monday?
You're not
No.
available anytime, you just said you were busy on the...
Is anyone available Monday, the 8th, at like lunchtime?
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
How about Tuesday at lunchtime?
Tuesday would not work for me, Mayor. I'm
Okay.
training on Tuesday.
How about Wednesday
doesn't
at
work for me.
lunchtime?
Yeah.
Wait, are you, okay. Is this to allow for, is this meeting just to allow for the opportunity for the public to make comment?
Yes, that's correct.
Wednesday, the 10th? Wednesday, the 10th at noon.
May 10th.
May 10th
Not for me.
at noon.
That means she has to put it. Not me either, Mayor.
You lose this half over here on your afternoon calls.
I got this half. May 10th. Thank you.
Is it going to be May 10th?
Yes, it is.
At noon.
Noon.
That's my lunch.
Okay, thank you very much.
Charles?
I believe,
Excuse him.
I'm sorry. Are we going to have a discussion after this meeting?
Oh, you wanted about positions?
Yes, so would you like
Yeah,
to
sure.
request an executive session?
Oh, okay, yes. Thanks for reminding me. I have 2 new positions within the Water and Sewer Department that I'd like to discuss with the board, and if we could do that in an executive session.
Okay, so we'll do that at the end of the meeting? Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Who makes the
Charles,
motion?
could I ask you my question?
Oh, sure.
The other night, I was standing
When
in
you
front of
motion,
Tequila
you
Sal
have to go and
Limon,
take this in.
in front of the sign, and it looked like maybe there's a sewer drain or something that had been worked on there, and there's a big orange bin thing, not a cone, but it's one of those bin.
Yeah, round,
The big round
yeah,
ones, and the
okay.
iron grate was like lying on the ground on the side,
Okay, I'm sorry, where was this?
right in front of Tequila Sal Limon.
Before you get to Hallett Place,
Okay, I'm sorry, okay. All right, well, I'll certainly get someone to look at that tomorrow morning.
Yeah,
That might,
because it was a pretty big hole, and
now, the state DOT may have been involved with that, since it is a state roadway. So, but I could check with it tomorrow and see what the status is.
could you, just so that
Sure.
maybe that protective grate could be put back into place? Safety first.
And one other item, I'm sorry.
Oh.
The stump grinding, I know that I spoke to you about it, the
Right,
stump
on
grinding.
Wayne Avenue,
Right, and then some concrete work, we did some concrete work up on, not Parkside, Meadowbrook, up outside the
Yeah,
Withers.
There's trees that were taken down, yeah.
Right.
There's sidewalk replacement at that location, one other location. We have talked about, we're trying to schedule that work.
Okay.
We're hoping for a dry couple of days in a row.
All right.
We're going to schedule that work. It's on our radar, and we're going to get it done.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay.
We need the motion for the executive session.
Not yet.
When we go in.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Finance Department. I have a resolution here authorizing Michael Janito to be placed on Capital One accounts and to have Barbara Cotiers taken off the accounts. Be resolved that the village board authorizes Treasurer Michael Janito to be placed on the Capital One accounts as a signee for said accounts, and that Barbara Cotiers be removed from these accounts effective April 22nd, 2017, nunc pro tunc. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Mr. Kraushaar, village attorney.
We're trying to resolve outstanding issues with regard to parking of vehicles and locating of garbage bins in an area known as Suffern Place, which is approximately 115 feet north of the intersection of Lafayette Avenue. It is shown on the Rampo tax maps as being owned by the village, but we just want to make absolutely certain so that we know what our authority is with regard to potential solutions to those existing problems. So I'm asking the board to consider adopting a resolution authorizing the hiring of a title company to do a title search for Suffern Place, 115 feet north of the intersection of Lafayette Avenue, as shown on tax map 54-35. The resolution reads as follows: whereas the village is the presumptive owner of tax parcel 53.35 on the Rampo tax map, commonly known as a portion of Suffern Place, and whereas the village board is desirous of determining for a legal certainty if it is the fee title holder, now that therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby authorizes the hiring of a title company to determine the fee title owner of the subject property by having them perform a title search. Shouldn't cost more than $350.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Thank you. Trustees, any of the trustees have anything?
Just one thing. Thank you, Kathy, for Saturday, and Fred, and Charles, and the Scouts. Did a good job Saturday. Thank you.
Great. Anyone else? Okay. I have a resolution here. Let's see, hold on. Resolution authorizing the mayor and board of trustees to accept the resignation of Mr. Daniel McInerney. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Next, I have a resolution authorizing the mayor and the board of trustees to accept the resignation of Amy Paffenroth as in her position in the Suffern Justice Court office, effective April 5th, 2017, nunc pro tunc. Have a motion?
Motion.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. I have a resolution here authorizing the creation of a senior account clerk position for the treasurer's office. Be resolved that the village board of the village of Suffern authorizes the creation of a full-time senior account clerk position for the treasurer's office. The village clerk shall take all steps necessary to formalize the creation of this position with the Rockland County Department of Personnel. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye, motion passes. Resolution authorizing the creation of a deputy village clerk position for the village clerk's office. Resolved that the village board of the village of Suffern authorizes the creation of a full-time deputy village clerk position for the village clerk's office. The village clerk shall take all steps necessary to formalize the creation of this position with the Rockland County Personnel Office. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Next, I have a resolution authorizing Mr. Daniel Plesner to serve as an unpaid intern in the Village of Suffern Treasurer's Office from May 1st, 2017 through December 31st, 2017. Whereas Suffern Village Treasurer Michael Janito requests that the village authorize that Daniel Plesner be allowed to do work in his office as an unpaid intern from May 1st through December 1st, 2017, in order that Mr. Plesner be able to earn college credit. And whereas Mr. Janito requested that it would benefit the village by having someone assist him in various special assignments. Now therefore be it resolved, the Board of Trustees hereby authorizes that Daniel Plesner be allowed to serve as an unpaid intern in the village treasurer's office from May 1st through December 31st, 2017, in order to allow him to earn college credit by assisting the treasurer in various special assignments. Mr. Plesner is a Ramapo College student, a village resident, and is majoring in the finance field, and will be an asset to the village and also help Mr. Plesner earn his degree. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Have any discussion?
Yeah, with regard to these dates, or at least the start date, today is May 1st. He did not start today. I don't know definitively when he's going to be starting. I just
Hold
want.
on. I thought we would make it, but we just did not make it.
We were trying, Virginia.
I know. Hold on. Not yet. Just want to make sure we get it on.
Some legal.
Okay.
Action.
Okay. So that's not a hard and fast date, obviously. I believe that the intention is that he's going to be here from time to time, but certainly when Mr. Janito is here or any future deputy treasurer is up to speed. So just want to make it clear that May 1st date is not, I mean, we're not paying anyway, but it's referencing a date which is not set in stone. Just want to make that clear.
Can we check it?
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. All right, this time I make a motion to go into executive session.
Motion.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Discussion.
Discussion, sorry.
For the record, the board will not be voting in executive session on anything, nor will they be coming out of executive session and taking a vote. Once they exit executive session, there will be a motion to adjourn the meeting, and no further business will be conducted when they come out of executive session.
All in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Thank you.